So the look on your face when Miss Hong reminds you quiz tomorrow, hopefully that's not you, and hopefully this is you. That you got this, okay? So thankfully you guys have this opportunity to watch the practice quiz and to go over it, and hopefully this will help you. So over here, most of us, I believe, we've already done this in class, but what you do need to pay attention to is this part here. Okay, if it says to rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. Now, I know these are not numbered, and that's how some students are getting a little off. However, just know where your center is. These are your negatives, okay, for the x's, positives for the y's, or positives for the x's, and then positives for the y's, and then negatives for the x's. So P is located at -3, -2. C is located at -3, -5. And then G is located at 0, -1. So now we're going to go to P prime, C prime, G prime. In order to do that, look back at your notes. What you're supposed to do is swap them and then change the sign to the left. Swap them and then change the sign to the left. Swap them and then change the sign to the left because it's counterclockwise. Okay, so let's see over here. And then once you plot it, and then you connect them, then you can see that the rotation was a quarter of a circle in the counterclockwise direction. Number 2, 180. So 180, you should expect this to be halfway around, rotated, where the G is closer to the origin and the C is the farthest away. So let's take a look at that. Looks like this needs a little focusing. Let me wait till it focuses. Okay. So let's go ahead and write the original coordinates. We already have this from before, so it's at -3, -2, -3, -5. Okay. And C is at, oh no, that was C. C is at -3, -5. G is at 0, -1. Okay, so now we want our new image points. So where is that? Okay, so now we're seeing that, okay, this is rotating 180 degrees. It doesn't say clockwise or counterclockwise. So if you remember the rule for that, if I were to write it, it would be they don't swap places or switch places, but they do change sign. Now this negative doesn't mean that you make them negative, it just means that they change sign. So if they're already negative, this negative turns to positive, this negative turns to positive, this negative turns to positive, and this negative turns to positive. 0 stays 0, and this one stays to positive, okay? So now we should expect it to be somewhere up here. The G should be close to the origin. So let's see, 0, -1, and 0, 1 is right here. So we're going to call that G prime. Done with that one. And then C prime is at 3, 5. So 1, 2, 3 to the right, and then up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to plot it, and then we get C prime. 3, 2 is 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2. Then when you, oh, why am I saying 2? Why am I writing a 2? That's going to be P prime. Then connect, connect, and then connect. And that's a 180-degree rotation, okay? All right, number 3, thankfully we only have to now. Number 3, I accidentally gave you guys 2 different versions, so some of you have 270 counterclockwise and 270 clockwise. I apologize for the confusion, okay? So if you've already done the homework, then you know, go with whatever originally was there, but what I meant for it to be was 270 clockwise. I meant for it to be clockwise. But I will go over, if you already did counterclockwise, then I'll do that first, okay? And then if you had clockwise, I'll do that next, okay? So let's do the 270 counterclockwise first. Remember, when you see 270, you should have 2 x's, one over the 270 and one over the direction. Change it to 90 degrees and the opposite of the direction. So counterclockwise, the opposite of that is clockwise. Okay, so I think I told some of you guys, yeah, we'll have to talk about this. So this is the origin, okay? So from there, let's say we have, okay, so 90 degrees clockwise, we need the coordinates of x first. So x is at negative 4, 4, because I went left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now x prime is going to be dependent on what's here, 90 degrees clockwise. So swap them first, and then change the sign of the right one, okay? So then where is it going to end up? It should end up clockwise around this area. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So x prime is where it should end up, okay? Now, if you had this on your paper for number 3, 270 clockwise, okay, then this would change to 90 degrees counterclockwise. So if this is what you have, then let's do this real quick. Now, the x is still the same. The x is located at negative 4, 4. And then x prime is going to end up being at, so it's going to be somewhere over here, because if you rotate it 90 degrees counterclockwise, it'll be here somewhere. So you got to swap them. So I'm going to just swap them and then change the sign of the left one. So it's going to be a negative 4, negative 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's where x prime ends up. That's for those of you that had clockwise on your original paper. Now, most of you guys have 90 degrees clockwise. If I told you to change it to counterclockwise, just bear through this explanation and then I'll do the counterclockwise one. So 90 degrees clockwise. If this 90 degrees clockwise, you're supposed to change, well, let's see, where's the origin here? Here's the origin. Okay, to get to V, it's going to be negative 1, 4. And to get V prime, you got to swap them first and then change the sign of the right one this time. So at 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 1, there's your V prime. Okay? Now for those of you that I told you to write counter above it, okay? So let's say I wrote counter, then you got to go, you still got your V at negative 1, 4. Then your vertex, or your V prime is going to be, swap them, and then change the sign of the left. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1, and that's your V prime. So depending on what paper you had, you can use this part of the video or use this part of the video. And again, I apologize for the confusion. Someday I'm going to go an entire week without making any mistakes on these videos. I apologize, but hopefully it's still helping you. All right, the next part. Write the coordinates of the points after the given rotation. So once coordinates, and then look at the given rotation. Okay. Oop, I see 270 counterclockwise for this y. So let's see what the coordinates will be. I have two x's, 90 degrees clockwise. Now, what do I know about clockwise? Got to swap them, but then you change the sign of the right one, and I'm done. 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay, so I have negative 3, negative 3. Well, 90 degrees means swap, but then change the sign of the left one, so this becomes positive 3, negative 3. Okay, which rule describes the rotation of the given below? Is it a 90 degree clockwise about the origin, 90 degrees counterclockwise, 270 clockwise, 180 rotation? So let's see for the primes. So the primes are here. So this is your pre-image, which means it could either have gone all the way this way, which is a 270 motion counterclockwise, or it could have gone 90 degrees to get here clockwise. So let's see, 90 degrees, this one makes sense. Was it a 90 degrees counterclockwise? No. That would only be true if you thought this was the pre-image, which is not. So that's not it. 270 clockwise, counterclockwise, or clockwise? No, it only took 90 degrees to get there, so it's not this one. And it's not, it didn't go half circle around, so it has to be A. 7 is A. Number 8, write a rule that describes the rotation in the given picture on the right. This is definitely a half circle, so all you got to do is say 180 degree rotation. If you want to add the about the origin part, you can as well. Okay, if you leave it out on the quiz, it's okay, but it's nice to have it in there. What are the coordinates of the point A30 after a 270 degree clockwise rotation about the origin? Okay, so immediately I should have two x's, 90 degrees counterclockwise. What do you do for that? So A prime, you're going to switch them, and then the sign of the left one's supposed to change, but the left one is a 0, so you just leave it alone, and that's done. Last but not least, number 10, what are the coordinates of the point after a 180-degree rotation? So literally, you just keep them the same locations, and you just change the signs of both of them. So it becomes +2, +3, no switching, or so 10 is A. Hopefully that helps, guys, and I would suggest that you don't just watch it through, but see if you can quiz yourself on these rules. And the rules are in your interactive notebook. Let me grab it real quick, hold on. So if you look here on page 24, okay, 24, you have these rules right here. See if that helps you. If you don't remember how the rules were applied, you see all these examples of what we did, okay? So all of that is there. You can use that to help. And remember, whenever you see a negative, it doesn't mean it's a negative. You have to make it negative, but it means change the sign. It means the opposite. All right, this is the end of the video.